Right, coming up, a very important heat, because we mentioned at the top two very important men, two world champions, Jason Crump, Nicki Pedersen. Those are, well, they always are, the factor for their teams, aren't they?
Yeah, they're huge players and world class here, and certainly these two head-to-heads are interesting. Jason Crump, of course, he's actually done quite a few more matches than Nicki Pedersen, but Nicki actually misses one or two home matches because they still run home matches when he's away at GPs. Also, Jason Crump's probably done one or two more knockout meetings, but 450 points, 10-point average for Jason, maximums 9. Obviously, Nicki Pedersen, the 6 maximums, just slightly under the 10-point average, but both of those are terrific performances, and I expect a tremendous match-up against these two this evening. I expect to see them racing against you at least 3 times tonight.
They're also at the top of the game, as you mentioned. Jason Crump coming off that Grand Prix win, and of course Nicki has just won the Danish Championship for the 3rd year out of 4, so yeah, both of them are riding extremely well and very tough.
Yeah, he is the genuine #1 Danish rider of the moment. I've got to say, we've seen him ride a few times down at Eastbourne, and he hasn't dropped a point at all, and he really has looked fantastic. Very sharp away from the tapes, and that's really been the secret of his setup, certainly in the last few weeks. But I expect this to be exciting here, because Crump is in good form too, and there's a lot of pride at stake in this one.
Always is. Thanks, Kelvin. Yes, two absolute world champions going head-to-head in this one, and there's not a lot in it. 11-7, they're up at tapes. Let's join Sam Ermolenko and Nigel Pearson.
Well, there's no doubt that the clash of the big guns are Jason Crump and Nicki Pedersen, and it's just as important, the clash of the reserves. 2 riders off the inside. Andy Smith off gate 1 in blue for Belle Vue, Andrew Moore gate 2 in yellow for Eastbourne, Crump gate 3 red for Belle Vue, and we're on board with him, and Nicki Pedersen is on the outside in green. So Sam, it's all about Pedersen and Crump, the world champions, Nicki in 2003, Jason in 2004, but it's a team effort. And what about the reserves on the inside as well? That's just as important.
Well, looking at these two guys right here, it's going to be important to make the start, and then once you make a start, you can then concentrate on how hard you turn the throttle on to deal with the conditions, because neither of them have been on the racetrack yet. But the two guys on the inside, Andy Smith on the inside in the blue right there, and Andrew Moore, both been on the racetrack. Andy Smith's been on the ground. Andrew Moore's scored 2 points so far, so it's going to be a matter of the battle. Andy Smith is definitely capable, but can he keep it up? He's on the inside.
There is Jason Crump in red then. Very popular here at Belle Vue. Was linked to the move away from the club before the new promotion came in, and it's a bit of a jumpy start, and Pedersen's got it. Oh, that looks potentially nasty in the first turn, and Andy Smith has said thank you very much, I'll come up the inside, and now Nicki Pedersen goes wide. Crump is at the back for Belle Vue. Andy Smith has the lead. Nicki Pedersen second. Third is Andrew Moore. Here comes Nicki Pedersen, wide into the dirt, can't get there. Smith retains the lead. The Belle Vue fans are jumping up and down. They can't believe what they're seeing here. Surely Nicki Pedersen will pass Andy Smith, but Smith has all the experience, all the knowledge to try and second-guess Pedersen's next move.
Well, you said surely. That's a pretty definite, and I don't think we got another lap to go. Smudge is coming across, and Nicki gets into all kinds of trouble behind him. Smudge has got 1 lap to go, and he's got a pretty decent lead.
Andy Smith looks as though he may have done it up here, as Nicki Pedersen there in second spot goes wide, with Andrew Moore third, and Jason Crump desperately trying to nip up the inside, but it's a share of the spoils, and full credit to Andy Smith of the Belle Vue Aces. He failed to score in his opening ride after coming to grief, but that is a terrific ride, and as I said in the build-up to the race, yes, the headline was all about Crump and Pedersen, but the reserves are just as important, and Andy Smith has proved just why there for the Belle Vue Aces. Smudger, who started his career across the way at the old Belle Vue Hydro Stadium. I remember seeing him there in action in the early 80s, 1982, 83, and he's won the race there for the Belle Vue Aces. But with Pedersen and Moore sharing the minor placings there, with Jason Crump at the back, it's a share of the spoils, and it was a very tense first turn, very tight, and it's good that all 4 riders managed to stay on the bike. Andy Smith, the race winner, Nicki Pedersen second, Andrew Moore third, Jason Crump on the back. 3-all, Belle Vue lead 14-10. And what about a first turn, Sam?
Yeah, you said no doubt about it being a little bit gnarly going to that first corner. Old Crumpy was a little bit edgy at the start, and he tried to move a little bit, and then he backed off, and then it went, and he got himself into trouble right there because he was off the throttle. He was very lucky to stay on that bike right there. That could have been potentially very dangerous for the champ. But it was Nicki Pedersen that now was trying to make that focus of getting out front, but there was no way smudge. Here's another look. Look how close it is. Crumpy just grabbed traction as Nicki tried to clamp it down on that inside line, and he got himself all into shape, out of shape right there. And then Smudge had the chance to take up position when he seen that gap there and went and led him from start to finish from that point on.
Andy Smith is the Belle Vue hero of heat number 4, and he's with Sophie.
Yeah, he's a happy man, Andy. Who would have predicted that? You've got Jason, you've got Nicki, and you flew round.
Yeah, they both nearly crashed in the first corner, and I kept on the line and stayed in front, which I'm glad about.
Well, the track has obviously been causing problems. Do you think that affected them then, because you came down in your first one?
Yeah, you couldn't get in the corner, it's so grippy, and then it was icy, and that's why I fell off in the first one.
You've been having a great season, haven't you? You got a 17-point maximum the other night. You're on a roll.
Yeah, and then the week after I got 14. It's been going good.
Yeah.
I just wish I could score like that away from home.
And more top flight appearances than any other rider in the elite at the moment.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's quite amazing, really, isn't it? And showing what a class rider you are there.
Yeah, and I still want to go for a few more years, hopefully.
All right, we'll keep it up, Andy. Back to Kelvin and Jonathan.
Sophie, I'm getting worried about you. You're becoming an anorak. She knows
That's
all
right.
the stuff there on Smudger. But I tell you what, his record is unbelievable here. He's been racing since, what, 16 or something?
That's right, and we actually started at the same time. And I remember racing against him at the old Hyde Road Belle Vue, and he used to fly around there. And I've got to say that all credit to Andy. He's been in the sport a long time and still retains fantastic enthusiasm. And that race there was terrific because he came under terrific pressure there from Nicki Pedersen. Not many people beat Nicki Pedersen in the Elite League these days. And that was just with Jason Crump making that big mistake in the first corner. That was just what the home side needed. A decent ride there from Andy Smith.